So when you're going fucking hard and you grind all the time, like everybody knows, it's 24 hours in a day. But when I'm in the shower, it's a mental aid station. I don't think about I don't think about people. I don't think about work. I don't think about running. I don't think about working out. When I'm in the car, another fucking mental aid station. When I'm eating, mental aid station. So people eat and they work and all this other shit, man. So I can grind hard because a lot of times, man, I'm in mental fucking aid stations. So many people, they need to have a 5K, a 10K. I need to have a course in front of me. I need to have something in front of me for me to get my up and do some shit. And that used to be me. And nowadays, you know, for the past 20 some years, I don't need purpose. And people miss out on this, man. The purpose, we're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? Is it my family? Motherfucker, the purpose is you. We forget that. Every fucking day I wake up and I don't want to do something. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to be a bitch today? Do you want to feel like a little bitch? Do you want to walk around all day knowing that you could, but you didn't? So it's perform without purpose. You have to learn how to get up and do shit when you ain't got no fucking 5K, no 10K, nothing. Nothing exists. Your life fucking sucks. You're in the fucking dungeon. But guess what, motherfucker? I'm still going to get it. Because when that time comes, because the time is going to come, when that purpose is there, you'll be ready. But most of us aren't ready because we don't know how to do without having the golden carrot in front of us. And so my decision was to be the best person I could. And I basically, a lot of mornings I wake up and say, F your feelings. And that doesn't mean like, you know, don't take it literally, F your feelings. But sometimes you have to go beyond what you're feeling. I got to a point in my life where I realized this is life. And so I move on past things real quick. So people are like, oh my God, what are you gonna do, David, if you can't run? Motherfucker, I'll swim. Or I'll go to college, or I'll do something else. This this isn't my life. So I'm very aware how quick life can take from you. And I've always prepared my mind for the next chapter. And what happened with me was I started this thing called front loading. So when I was young, I used to be a little piece of shit. You know, like, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. But the second I got my head out of my ass, and I realized, man, you can achieve a lot of shit if you get off your ass, you start moving, and you start motivating yourself. Start becoming a self-motivator. So I started front loading. And front loading is people are like, man, you've done so much by 47 because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring me. So my military resume is fat. You know, I did a lot in the military. I did a lot outside the military. I've made money. I've done almost every race out there, hard race in the world. I've broken pull-up records. I've done a lot of shit. So when these bad times come, and also not like only that, like work your ass off so you can enjoy. Yeah, you're taking a shot. You know, you may not live to be old, but what if you do? And you worked your ass off when you were able, and you were able to get up early, able to grind. If you front load it properly, the back half of your fucking life is money. And that's what I did. The second I realized that, man, you are a piece of shit, we got to get going. Because at 47, man, you're not going to be able to do any of this shit. 50, whatever you are. So I front loaded. So all these bad things that have happened to me, I sit back and go, man, how are you handling this so well? Motherfucker, I've done it. I front loaded. I have the money I need, I have the success I need, I have the determination, the willpower, and also the pride in myself. So when I wake up every morning, I know who the fuck I am. I front loaded perfectly. So I don't care what's taken from me. Well, most people just look at me as the guy that runs and yells as he's running. And that's, while I do that, you know, to motivate people, but people don't understand that my day is broken up into segments. I work out, I eat, I sleep, but I spend most of my time studying. So like, I'm in the medical world, I'm a paramedic in Canada, but I spend a lot of my time trying to nuke every single thing about it, because I'm not trying to just be a paramedic, learn about veins and arteries and how the heart pumps and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn to the point where I can save someone's life. And even though paramedics are doing that all over the world, I'm trying to be that paramedic that can really dissect exactly what's going on and figure out, what medication goes where. Just trying to learn, the algorithm of what's going on, man. So I spend a lot of time with it. I'm not a real smart guy. And what I mean by that is I was born with ADD, ADHD. My brain cannot retain information. I'm not some genetic freak when it comes to running, when it comes to lifting weights. I am absolutely the bottom of the barrel. And people will never believe me. And they can just, whatever, believe what you want to believe. So when you ask me this question about what does studying look like for me, I have to go over the same page over and over and over and over again. While Jennifer can look at that page while she's, quizzing me, she'll learn it right then as she doesn't know anything about it. She will quiz herself or quiz me and learn it as she's quizzing me. It's the most frustrating thing in the world how my brain works. So what I do is I literally sit there with a pen and paper and I have my books and I go through and have to write everything down every single day. I will study the same page until it's photographic memory from writing the same thing down. And then from there, I'll go back through and relearn again. So I'll learn the bulk of it, but then I'll go through and learn the small things within that. So if it's a medication, I'll learn what the medication does. I'll learn how to even say the medication. Because these medications aren't like albuterol. No, it's very big words. So I'll go through, learn how to say the name. Then I'll go through, learn what the dose is. Then I'll go through, and this is like every single day. It's not like, oh, I got it. Let's just go through. No, nothing is I got it. Every single thing. So I can't wait to get in this conversation because everything I do in life, it sucks. Everything I do in life, it sucks. That's why when I was 300 pounds and 24 years old, it wasn't like I had some big epiphany of let's just go be a Navy SEAL, let's lose some weight. No, I knew my entire life was going to be a struggle, which is why I just ignored it. And I said, I'm not even trying to jump off into this and learn how to read, how to write, how to memorize, how to become something I am not. But through that process, something happened to me. And I realized this is why I feel sorry for no one. How my mind is wired now is that everything I do is what I do. Because the focus it takes for me to, like right now, I'm running. I'm not like a great runner. I'm not like injury free. So like my first 20 minutes of the run, I'm limping. I'm literally limping because I've had several knee surgeries and my body was twisted. And so now it's untwisting. So people look at me, oh, it looks like he's limp, like limping when he runs. I am limping when I run. My body's jacked up, so I'm focusing on how to get the best out of a broken body. So everything I do is a total focus on what I'm doing at that point in my life. Like when I was going through school, I'll never forget, I think I was in 3rd grade. And back then, ADD, ADHD wasn't like, here's this medicine or here's this thing. They want to put you in a special school. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was so far behind in learning that their big thing was, let's just put him in a special school because he'll never learn. And through that process of like, I don't want to be in a special school. I don't want to be treated any differently. It really, I never took medication. I've never taken medication for this. That's why right now you see me looking right in your eyes. What the hell is human saying right now? And that's why I don't feel bad for people who have ADHD, who have learning disabilities. And some are impossible because you just can't. But a lot of them you can. But people don't want to go through the process of focus, of teaching yourself how to truly focus. This is where my message gets lost. It gets lost because I may say, MF or F, I may be because that's the passion that comes out of me because it takes everything for me to learn a sentence. So when I speak about David Goggins, I can't speak about David Goggins in a way that's just calm and cool. Because when I wake up, I know the journey that it takes for me to find my greatness. And it's hard. Nothing is easy. Nothing just like, oh, I wake up and I just do this or I do that. Or it just, I watch people every day go through life and it's so easy. For me to be where I'm at today, it takes every bit of me. So when I speak about it, and as I get going here, you'll start seeing me, the tempo will rise, the passion will come out, because I'm back there. I'm doing what I do every day to become a human being. And so nothing is easy. Like running is running. It sucks, but you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No. So this is what it takes. It takes that misunderstanding of people, and they'll never get it because they were never David Goggins. So that is what it takes for me to do what I do. It may take you something differently. So for me, everything has to be in the studying. Everything has to be into this. Everything has to be in everywhere I am. It has to be there. Me, focused where I am. The biggest misunderstanding about David Goggins of all time. It's like whether you believe in God or not, I do. He put this lab rat, which is me, on this planet and said, let me see what a beat up, abused kid who can barely learn, who has a twisted body, messed up genetics, sickle cell, this and that. Let me give him everything that pretty much disqualifies you from the military. But back then, it wasn't estrus. And let's put him in this and see what comes out of it. So to do that, friction, you don't wake up in the morning time and go to the coffee maker. Matter of fact, sometimes you don't even sleep. What it requires is when I'm at 2 o'clock it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and my brain is thinking about a drug, and I got to get up and look in my book to see if that drug is how I remember it. And this is every day of my life. That's why when I train a fighter or I train someone, I'm like, you have no idea how great you really are, because you are using such minimal of what you have. And if people can learn to focus, this is what's possible. While it may not be pretty, like people want to do a documentary on me. I go, no, I don't want you to do a documentary on me, because I will have normal, everyday people picking me apart. Oh, his life is miserable. Who wants to live like that? It's crazy how it's almost like he's sick, he's psychotic. The most frustrating thing in the world for me is when normal people judge a man like myself on what it really takes to extract greatness from nothing. It takes every bit of who you are if you choose that route. If you don't, Merry Christmas, do what you got to do. I didn't feel good. It was easy. The brain that I was given as a child, it was easy to go home and think about how do I want to be a freak today? How do I want to show up to school today and be a freak? It didn't require me going home and opening a book up saying, it's going to take me all year to learn this page. So instead of learning that page, I learned how to become a character. And maybe that character that I created, that 300-pound insecure guy that used to fake it till I make it type of guy, let me become your friend, let me lie to you until you like me type of guy. When you have any manhood, womanhood, a human being, a soul, a spirit, I must have just this much pride, because that's exactly what opened the door for me. Because every day you were a character, every day you were a clown, every day you opened that Spanish book or that science book or English book, and you looked at it, it looked like a foreign language. And you're saying, where do I start? Where do I start? And obviously it was necessary. The more I talk about it, it was necessary, because what happened is I became haunted by the mere fact that this is my existence. And you got to live with that. And I lived with it for a lot of years. And so I sat back and said, okay, all right, I know what this takes. And when you sit back, as f***ed up as I was, and I had a laundry list, a table like this of what I have to do to become just a human being that can make ends meet, that can make $1,000 a month just to get there, was like, oh my God, dude, I'm 16, 17, I can't read, I can't write, and oh my God, I'm so behind the power curve, and my brain is about being depressed, and my dad beat, my mom's not home, and kids are calling me nigga at school, and I'm like, oh my God, man, what the do I do? And it wasn't like someone came around and said, hey man, you can do this.
How do I take these principles? Because they get the principles, they can explain the principle. They can quote you the principle, but then they get faced with a problem and they don't understand how to actually apply the principle. And what do I do when I've got a young individual that has a lot of potential, but they're not really taking advantage of it? They're not motivated to make things happen. What do I do then? And question after question after question after question. And I realized, okay, I need to actually put these principles in a field manual that people can pragmatically take the lessons, take the principles, and apply them to what's happening in the world. And that's what I try to do in the new field manual. So I looked at it and I said, wait a second, how could I have, as a new guy, have made a decision in that situation that was better than what the more senior, more experienced guys were making? And I realized it was because I took a step back and detached from it. So at that moment I said to myself, okay, from now on, when I get into these tactical scenarios, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna try and look around and I'm gonna try and detach myself from the chaos and the mayhem. And I started doing it all the time. In every tactical situation, in the land warfare, in the mountains, in the urban environments, I was doing it all the time. And I was able to see what was happening. It was like a superpower to be able to see what was happening and make decisions. Why don't we like this guy? Why doesn't anyone want to listen to this guy? Why don't we want to follow this guy? And the reason, because he was arrogant and he didn't listen and he didn't give us any ownership of everything. Everything was about him. I'm gonna work with you guys. Not I'm in charge, I'm glad I'm taking over, I'm glad to be your commander. It was nothing like that. I needed to be the guy. I don't always need to be the center of attention, which is what our ego wants us to do. Our ego always wants it to be about us. And it's not about us. It's not about us at all. I built on those things. That became kind of the core tenet of the way I think. There was never a time that one of my bosses said, hey Jocko, shut up and you do what I told you to do. There was never a time that one of my bosses said that to me. There was, if I had a question, if I pushed back, they gave me legitimate answers. If they didn't have good answers, then they would modulate or change what it is that they were telling me to do. So this idea of having relationships up and down the chain of command, trust is built on relationships. Relationships are built on trust. If you don't trust me, we don't really have a relationship. The more deeply you trust me, the better relationship we have. Me performing, me offering advice, me taking what you asked me to do and doing it. That's the number one thing. If we flip those roles, and now I'm in charge of you, how do I build trust with you? Well, what I do is I give you a project. And instead of me giving you a project and then saying, hey, here's how I want you to do this and here's how I want you to do the next part, instead I say, hey, here's a project, let me know how you want to do it. And then you go figure out how you want to get done. And I don't micromanage you and I don't ask you a million questions about and tell you, no, don't do it like that, do it like this. I let you do it. And what does that tell you? That tells you that I trust you. I trust you. And when I trust you, you start to trust me. And by the way, if something goes wrong, instead of me jumping down your throat and hanging you out to dry and making you an example in front of everyone, I say, hey, let's figure out what went wrong. Did I not support you well enough? Did I not give you what you needed? And so you realize, oh, he's not gonna hang me out to dry. He's gonna give me the support. He's gonna try and teach me if something goes wrong instead of try and drop the hammer on me. And in order to do this properly, of course, let's say you just started working for me. The first thing I would hand you wouldn't be a massively strategic, important project and say, hey, here's a multi-million-dollar project, you take and run with it, I'll be over here. I trust you, you make it happen, because I don't know you. How can I trust you if I don't know you? So I'm gonna give you a smaller project. I'm gonna give you something little to start on, and then you do that well, boom. Now I'm gonna give you something bigger, and we continue to go in that direction until pretty much we get to a point where all I really have to tell you is, hey, this is the vision. This is what we're trying to make happen. Run with it. If you need to pass this barrier of whatever kind, let me know so I can let everyone else know. But it's on you. Run with it. When I say, hey, Tom, here's the project I want you to get done. Can you take a look at it and tell me how you want to get it done? And you come back to me, 3 days later, and you say, hey, boss, I was looking at this thing and it's just not possible. And I don't say, well, actually it is possible because I've already thought it through. Here's how you need to do it. Instead I go, well, what do you think our real challenges are? And then you say, well, we can't get the supplies in time. And then you say, well, and also we don't have enough manning. And I say, okay, well, what's taking the supplies so long to get here? And you say, well, they're coming across the country on a truck. And so it's gonna take, a week and a half for them to get here. And we don't have enough people because it's gonna take 190 man hours in this amount of time, and I only have 3 guys. So it's impossible. And I go, is there any other way to ship stuff across the country? And you say, well, I guess we could fly, but it's gonna be more expensive. Oh, okay, well, how much more expensive? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so eventually, you're gonna come to the solution. You're gonna come to the solution. And I'm gonna be happy that you come to the solution. Or there's a chance that you actually say, hey, Jocko, it's not possible, and here's why. And you tell me something that I didn't foresee, because I'm at a higher level, I'm elevated, I'm overseeing 14 different projects, you just got one. And when you dig in and you pull the thread, you realize it can't be done. I go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Okay. You know how many times I'm sure of what the outcome's gonna be? Not very often. So the truth is, I'm being totally transparent. I'm asking legitimate questions. I think I know the answers. I think they're gonna lead to the right place. And so it's okay to let that run its course. Leadership has a good connotation. If I'm manipulating you, I'm trying to get you to do something that's gonna benefit me. If I'm leading, I'm trying to get you to do something that's gonna benefit you, it's gonna benefit the team, and it's gonna benefit the mission. If you know that more than anything else, what I want is for you to be successful, most of the time, people don't wanna get that direct feedback. I'm gonna get the message to you, I'm just gonna deliver it in a way that you accept it more, that your mind is open to it. That's what I'm trying to do as a leader, as a friend, as someone that cares about you. Hey, look, I need to get this information to you. Now, this will escalate over time. And if I've tried, if I said, hey, Tom, I think we could do this better, and you still fail. And I say, hey, Tom, maybe you should try this, and you still fail. And then I say, hey, Tom, I think this is the way you should go, and you still fail. And then I'm gonna get to a point where I'm saying, listen, Tom, this isn't working. The way you are doing this is not working. And I told you this, and I told you that, and I told you the other thing. And what I'm trying to say is that you need to change this part of your game. It is hurting you. Places where human nature reveals itself most clearly are times of extreme sorrow, pain, suffering, and inhumanity. So if you want to see what happens to human beings, how they behave, see what they do in a concentration camp. If you want to understand humans better, understand what they do in the genocide in Rwanda, when 800,000 people were killed in 100 days, mostly with machetes. There's something going on there that we need to understand. If you want to understand leadership, you want to understand human nature, you need to look at the My Lai massacre, which happened in Vietnam, which was perpetrated by American soldiers, normal American soldiers. Normal American soldiers, you see the typical war movie, they got the typical Americans, they got the kid from the city, they got the kid from the country, they got the jock, they got the rock, that's what this was. That's what that company of soldiers was. And they went in there and committed heinous atrocities. And if we don't recognize what causes that, where that comes from, and that it's actually possible, then it's bound to happen again. And so it's going to be challenging. I need to control it. You have to detach from your emotions, you have to get control of them, and you have to make sure that you lead your men in the right direction so they don't do something that is not the right thing to do. The madder you get, the more aggressive you are, the more you're gonna get beat down, and the worse it's gonna be. So you have to learn to control your emotions. Take a step back, let's talk through it. How do you do it? You practice it. You pay attention to your emotions and you get control over them. If I treat you like you're a plebe, like you don't matter, you're not gonna respect me at all. But if I treat you with respect and respect you, when you try and talk to me, I listen and I respect what you're saying and I try and understand it fully, then your respect for me is gonna go up as well. When you wanna earn respect, give respect. When you wanna earn influence, give influence. When you wanna earn trust, give trust. All those three are related. Okay, let's look at these problems. All these different problems that you have, we can solve these problems. But you have to be committed, you have to be willing to put in the work. you feel stupid because you didn't know your times tables yet. What's the future? It's tomorrow. What you're doing today is connected to the future. Maybe I'll study, maybe I'll train, maybe I'll work out harder. You can start doing those things because you can improve and you can have a better life. If you have discipline now, it'll give you freedom in the future. When someone knows how to fight, you don't have to fight. If you know how to fight, you have a much rarer chance of getting into a fight. The more you know, the less you fight. Just help people learn the lessons that I've learned so they don't have to learn them for themselves. There's a lot of mistakes that I've made. I've been blessed and lucky, and I explain this in Leadership Strategy and Tactics, that I've been very lucky to have been through what I've been through, to been around the people that I've been around, to learn the things that I've been blessed and lucky enough to be able to learn, and I don't want to hoard them. I want to give them away. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing and trying to help people as much as I can.
It's something that I just kind of started doing. It's something that you just kind of started doing. It's something that Lex just kind of started doing. And I never practiced it. I didn't sit down before my first podcast and think about how I should deliver things. I just kind of did it.
Discipline is a theme that people associate with you.
When was there a moment that you realized discipline? Or when was there a moment you realized leadership? Or when was there a moment you realized detachment? I'm a person, right? I'm a person with my own thoughts, and I can make things happen. And for me, all those answers are usually fairly gradual. You know, there's like a little thing that indicates, and you get a clue, and then you move a little bit further down that road, then you get another clue, and then you move a little bit further down that road, and you get another clue. So that's what I would say for me, life was like. You know, when I was a little kid, I was kind of slowly discovering that I was a person, I was a human.
Two kinds of people. They literally thought there were two kinds of people. There are generators and projectors. And generators are people that are just, from a very young age, they realize they can impact other people positively, negatively, and they want to create things in the world. They want to generate stuff, and they go, wow, I can actually like build stuff and break stuff and blow stuff up maybe, but also, you know, help things. And then there are these projectors that like to just kind of reflect on what they see. It's not that generators are good and projectors are bad. The world needs both, that they really work in a kind of symbiotic way. But your story captures the essence of what it is to be a generator, which is that by doing certain things, you can have an impact and it feeds back to you, and it's likely that they receive something from it as well.
No one cares where you came from. No one cares what you did. You were the captain of the football team, captain of the soccer team. No one cares. No one cares what your grades were. No one cares what you got on the SATs and no one cares about anything. You're a blank slate. And then with that blank slate, it is, hey, if you do this thing, if you perform this task and you perform it well, you will get recognition, you will get more control over your own destiny, which is the ultimate in compensation for human beings, to have more control over your own destiny. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't control what you're doing every day, or at least you don't control most of what you're doing, then it's not worth it. If I performed well, I actually got a lot more freedom with what I did, even in boot camp. You know, if you pass an inspection in boot camp, you don't have to redo your locker, or you don't have to make your bed again because you did it right the first time. And so you have an extra 15 minutes. And so for me, really, that's when I started to realize, oh, what I'm doing right now is going to impact not only what's going to happen to me in the next hour, but in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And I think that's the biggest miss that we have when we're growing up. And I know you had your challenges and tribulations as you were growing up, because you didn't realize, oh, what I'm doing right now is going to affect where I'm going to be in the future. And it didn't happen until you were out of high school and you went to junior college and you're like, oh, wait a second, I can actually put my life together in a positive way. When you're 14, you're thinking, hey, what am I going to do tomorrow? That's basically future operations. Or what am I going to do tomorrow?
At 14, I was like, where am I going to get the Slurpee? Which curbs am I going to hit skateboarding? And where are we going to play video games tonight? Or what girls are we going to hang out with? That was kind of the mindset at 14.
Yeah, and then at some point you learned, and so did I, oh, the way the actions that I take now are either going to positively impact my future or they're going to negatively impact my future. The more I focused on doing things that are going to positively impact my future, the better my life became. Let's go make it happen. The military, when you look at it from the outside, it's this orderly place. It's a place where everything has a place. It's a place where if you have a certain rank on your shoulder, you will command respect and people have to listen to you. That's what it looks like. So it's an attractive place for people that have an authoritarian mindset, for people that wanna just, hey, don't question what I'm saying, just shut up and do what I tell you to do. There's people that love that. There's people that wanna live like that. You've worked for them, I've worked for them. We've experienced those type of people throughout our lives. That authoritarian mindset that just want to bark orders and have people listen to them. And so when those people are 14 years old or 16 years old or 18 years old and they look at the military and they see a uniform and they see people saluting and they see orders being carried out and they think that's where I'm gonna go and I can get the respect that I deserve. Combat is a lot different. Nothing goes the way it's supposed to go. The bullets don't get delivered on time. The enemy has a vote on the way things are going to unfold. And you end up in combat in being in very chaotic situations. So the type of person that thrives in combat has a more open mind, has a more flexible mind, is paying more attention to the input that they're receiving. As opposed to someone with an authoritarian mindset, they don't listen to anybody else. They make up their own mind, they bark orders. With someone that has a more open mindset, they're listening, they're taking input, they're evolving their plan. And those type of people excel in a combat situation. Now, unfortunately, and this is sort of the stereotype too, you take that dog of war and you put him back into a garrison environment, he doesn't do well, right? He's not showing up on time for the inspection. He didn't get his hair cut. He doesn't have his weapon cleaned the way it's supposed to be cleaned because he's got his weapon ready for combat, not ready for inspection. And so you get this, there are these two different types of people. And of course, with those two different types of people, there's degrees going one direction or the other. But what you hope for is someone that can play the game on the garrison side, and yet when it comes time to go into combat, they can also open their mind, be flexible, be creative. I mean, that's what you really want, is you want someone that is very good at solving problems. And to do that, you need to have a creative, open mind to figure out how we're gonna deal with something. So I think that's a stereotype. The stereotype is that everyone in the military is sort of robotic and falling into the hierarchy, and we bark orders and people follow orders, and that's just not true. There is an element of truth to it, but is not the whole truth. And certainly, if you look at history, the people that excel in combat are the people that maybe have a little bit of a rebellious streak, people that have that are just more creative and more open-minded, and then just go out there and make it happen. So there's strengths and weaknesses, just like any characteristic, right? Everybody's characteristic, you've got strength and you've got weaknesses, and your weaknesses can be strength and your strength can be weaknesses. Waking up early and I'm gonna work out, and depending on what's going on that day, if I have an early flight, I might work out for 8 minutes, right? I might go in and do 2,000 meters on the rower, get a sweat going hard as I can, and then I'm done. And because I got to go catch a flight. So that could be happening. Maybe I'm supposed to go surfing in the morning. I wake up, the waves are terrible. And so now I've got nothing to do. I planned out, to be surfing for 2 or 3 hours. And now I'm not gonna go surfing. So I'm gonna go lift, and I'm gonna go play in the gym and do a bunch of stuff. And I'm gonna spend 2 or 3 hours in there. I love doing that. So the workout could be anywhere between, what I just say, 8 minutes and 3 hours. And it could be anything in between. I fully enjoy the physical aspect of working out. So if I have more time to spend in the gym, I'll spend it. So wake up early, get a sweat going, and do I lift? Yes. Do I do cardio? Yes. Do I run? Yes. Do I sprint? Yes. Do I lift heavy weights? Yes. Do I swing kettlebells? Yes. I do everything and anything, and I enjoy all of it. And I'm not really good at any of it. I'm not really good at any one aspect of physical activity. There's people that are infinitely better at me in every aspect of, and I'm not just talking about, this guy's a world-class limp. No, there's like a guy named Fred down at the gym that can deadlift more than me. When my alarm clock goes off, I don't think a bunch. I don't debate with myself. I'm not negotiating. The thing goes off and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Sort of robotic. Now, this much I can say. When you go and work out, you're gonna feel better. You will get energy from working out. That is a guarantee. If you go work out, you're gonna feel better. If you go break a sweat, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna get more energy from it. And look, you gotta go really, really hard to where now you feel more tired when you're done. And even that, I mean, you gotta go psycho. I'll do that occasionally, but I don't do that on a daily basis. You know, at the end of a day, if I wake up, lift, run, surf, and then I do jiu-jitsu in the afternoon, like at the end of that day, I'm tired and I feel tired. But normal day, working out just makes you feel better. It definitely gives me energy, I should say, because I guess I'm not everybody.
Energy to do things is neural. And yet, of course, it relies on having glycogen and all this stuff around, but neural energy is what it's really about. Then your schedule and the way you function and the way you describe your schedule really makes a ton of sense. So you described getting up and lifting, running, surfing, and jiu-jitsu in the same day. So on a day like that, you're hydrating, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that's vital. And I know in the teams, in the SEAL teams, there's a lot of discussion about hydration as important. Even though you guys I know are supposed to be able to like eat sand and survive on sunlight and dirt and like drink your own blood.
Not me.
You know, it's hydration's taken seriously, right?
Yeah, and different people need different amount of hydration. And I unfortunately I always needed to bring a lot of water in the field, which sucked because water's heavy. And I have friends, one of my friends, Tony, BTF Tony, he'd go in the field with like a can of Copenhagen and coffee in his canteen and go like 3 straight days.
He's like a desert turtle.
He's a desert rat, man.
Yeah.
He could just survive.
Yep.
And I would always have to bring a ton of water. And I sweat a ton when I work out or when I'm doing anything that requires physical output. I sweat a ton. So I have to drink a lot of water for sure. But not everyone's the same. I create energy by, like I said, by going to lifting in the morning, by going and doing burpees. You go do burpees, you go do 100 burpees, like you're creating energy. You're gonna be tired, you're gonna be sweating, but you just created energy. So that stuff is totally true. I'm glad there's neuroscience to back it up. There's gonna be a little break-in period mentally where you think this totally sucks, and then you just can keep going for a really, really long time, and it's not that big of a deal. They're gonna find what you're not good at, and they're gonna exploit that, and you're gonna lose. This is what happens. So a lot of guys that may lose and it disrupts their motivation, they're probably just gonna quit. And so that's why you get this massive attrition rate with guys that are studs. I mean, we're talking Division I athletes, Division I wrestlers, Division I football players, Division I runners and swimmers. They all come to butts. They all quit. Not all of them quit, but there's plenty of examples of the highest level of collegiate athlete in sports that translate very well to what you're doing in basic SEAL training, and they quit. And sometimes it's because they don't know how to lose, they don't know how to recover from a loss, and they're just so I think already once you get to a SEAL team, you've got people that are generally speaking going to be pretty resilient when it comes to dealing with a loss. Not only that, I mean, you just get used, you talk about losing people, you're friends with this guy, you meet this guy in SEAL training, hey, this guy seems like a stud, oh, he's just gonna quit. And you're gonna lose 5, 6, 7 people, 8 people. People quit so fast, you don't even keep track of them. So you're just gonna lose, you're just gonna get used to it. So there's that. Now, once you're in the teams, and what you're talking about is now you start taking much more significant loss. You're not losing a race, you're losing one of your friends. And this is what, from a leadership perspective, you have to pay attention to. So when you're a leader in any organization, you're basically in charge of a mob. When it comes to what their morale is, they're a mob and they feed off of each other just like a mob rioting in the streets going, oh, we can break this window, let's break all the windows. And they move this mob mentality. And that happens with morale inside of a team. And you as a leader can't get caught up with the mob. You can't let that happen. You have to detach yourself from the mob mentally so that you don't get caught up in their emotions and their morale. Because if you get caught up in their emotions and you get caught up in their morale, you can't correct it. So we go out on a mission. The mission goes great. We get into a gunfight, kill a couple bad guys, everyone's okay, high fives, everyone's feeling great. You come back to base, hey, we don't need to debrief, that was perfect. Hey, we don't need to get our gear, maintained. We can just go to bed, we're awesome. That's when the leader has to say, oh, we've got the mob, and the mob is becoming slightly arrogant. Hey guys, real quick, that was a good op, but there's some things we could improve upon. You got to bring that mob back and bring them back to center line. Same thing in the other direction. You go out on an operation, it doesn't go well. You go out on an operation, you take casualties. Now you come back to base, you see guys moping around, you see the spirit starting to break, and same thing. If you're part of that mob, you'll be with them. Your morale will be breaking. Your spirit will be breaking. You got to look up and say, "Oh, I see what's happening. Hey guys, listen up. That was tough. Didn't go the way we wanted it to go. We need to learn some lessons. Here's some things I can do better. What can we do better to make sure that never happens again? What can we do to make sure we have the opportunity to go out and avenge our brother on the battlefield? What can we do to move this thing forward?" So as a leader, when it comes to winning and losing, you're generally going to be the person countering what the mob mentality is. Because when the mob starts winning, they want to keep winning and they might get arrogant. When the mob is losing, they might start to lose more because their attitude goes down the drain. So that's what you have to pay attention to from a leadership perspective. For me personally, I think I know what I did when I lost guys was focus on, all right, we need to celebrate the life. We need to mourn the loss. And then we need to go to work. We need to get our gear back on. We need to lock and load our weapons. We need to get back out there.
What's wrong with you?
My goal is to enrage people. No one makes good decisions when they're emotional. All lives matter. You should be training, whether it's 2 hours a day, 4 times a week, or whether it's 1 day a week, where you're gonna go and you're gonna go through scenarios. You're gonna do combatives. You're gonna work with simunition. You're gonna do de-escalation drills. You need to go through these tough scenarios over and over again because you do get better at it. You do get better at it. You learn how to mentally detach and not get emotional and realize that there's other things that are happening. You can get better at it.
Yes.
You can get better at it, but you only get better at it through training.
Right.
And you only get really comfortable through training a lot. You actually have to go out and build relationships with the good people inside that country so that the good people inside that country can help you get rid of the bad people. Focus on going out and building relationships. The problem is bad leadership. Mm-hmm. It's always bad leadership because you can take a bunch of knuckleheads and you give them a good leader and they'll do fine. Leadership is a skill and you can get better at it. Improve them. The more of them you learn, the better off you'll be. And you need to practice them. You won't be good at them out of the gate, understanding where the leadership is and what they're thinking, and so you can become a much, much better leader over time. We're gonna come up with a plan together. You and your team are totally bought into the plan. You made it up. As opposed to me coming down and barking orders at you and telling you how we're gonna do it. Doesn't work. I mean, I can force you to do it because I outrank you. No, I order you to do this. That doesn't fly. You know how many times in my entire military career I said, "Hey, I'm the boss. You better do what I tell you to do." You wanna know how many times I said that? 0 times. No one thinks like that. So in a leadership position, what you have to do is say, "Hey, I'm gonna find out what's going on. I'm gonna talk to people and we're gonna put together a plan to figure out how we're gonna get this solved. This is not acceptable in America." As a leader, you have to listen to other people's ideas. And you absolutely have to do that.
You have to be proactive. You'd have to call them, "What's up, man? How you doing? Everything good? You good?" Like, they have to get a good feeling out of you.
Yeah.
And you gotta say, "Listen, I gotta ask you this favor. I need this thing from you," and then you're rolling, and everything's good. But
Exactly.
If you don't do it that way, then people go, "This guy. Oh, this guy just wants things from me," or "This guy's annoying," or "This guy's treating me like a."
Exactly.
Yeah.
These people have a job. They have a purpose. They're moving in a certain direction. You're making something with your hands. You're producing something here in this country. That's just like, well, it's like when you go hunting. When I go hunting, you get something for yourself. There's a certain feeling of being self-sufficient. He wants a life. He wants to make money. And tell your people the truth about what's happening. If you're a leader, tell the people the truth about what's going on. That's what you need to do. And then people come back to me and they say, "Well, what if I don't know what? What if I don't know the truth?" Then what you do is you say, "Hey, I don't know the truth. Hey guys, I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. These are some contingencies that I'm preparing for." That is so much more acceptable from the troops than when you try and pretend like you know what you're talking about and it turns out you're wrong.
Right. Different stages of life, in this game called society and capitalism and advance. You start off at square A, everybody starts at a different spot, granted, but I started at the bottom, and you figure out a way to get a fucking test. And if you're in a spot right now in your life where you can't have a test, well, definitely don't go and expose yourself till we know what the fuck it is. Keep people safe. Drink water. Stay healthy. Work
Eat
out.
good.
Get out in the sun.
Earn money. Where I finally have 4 days or 5 days where I, don't have anything scheduled. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to shoot my bow. I'm going to chill. And I get up there and it's like my mind switches and all of a sudden I get sick. It's like I saved up illness to where I know I can be allowed to get sick, working hard and doing great, get in there and people underestimate, people don't think there's as much of a difference between like a black belt in jiu-jitsu and what would be considered an equivalent, world champion in Muay Thai. Oh yeah.
There's a big difference.
Step in the ring.
The problem is the ego, where people don't know how to fight and someone puts their dukes up and they decide to see what they can do. They decide in that moment to either fake it or just to see if they can possibly hit the guy, and then they get banked. Somebody tees off on them.
You feel different.
Yeah.
You feel humbled. You feel small. You feel perspective. Hey, you got to get out there. You don't even know sometimes you don't even, you get done with a good roll in jiu-jitsu and you say, you don't barely even remember it because your mind is just gone. You're just monkey mind.
Zen.
This total Zen state. Same thing with the being in the water for me, surfing. Same thing. I'm out here and my mind is just empty. It's monkey mind. And I think that's really good for you. Plus the fact it's humbling. Plus the fact it's healthy. So yeah, I just have a strong connection to the ocean. I know my son's a real waterman. He's out, he surfs all the time. I'd hate to do that to him, and then my little daughter's getting her surfing on. So yeah, it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah.
Because when you've got to do an operation that involves the water, it just sucks. Everything about it sucks. Everything about it sucks. You're getting you're parachuting from a plane into the water. It's nighttime. You got there's freaking parachute drifting around. You got to get your motor started. It's freezing cold. Boats flip over. Then you got to drive that boat to the beach and you got to drive through the surf zone. Your weapons are covered with sand. You're freezing cold. It's just, everything sucks. Everything sucks about it. So when that's kind of your starting, and by the way, you haven't even conducted your operation yet. You haven't even started the operation and you're freezing cold, you're tired, your radio got flooded out, your night vision goggles are freaking filled with sand, everything sucks. And now you got to conduct your operation. So in order to survive that way on a regular basis, that's one of the things that makes the SEAL teams good, is we're used to this one additional component all the time. That you always have to deal with. You have to figure that out. You have to be able to gut through it. What are you going to do? It's going to suck. You just got to do it.
Stimulates my mind. It kicks in those endorphins, and then all of a sudden I got an extra gear that keeps you going, that makes you achieve. It's like people think that it's easy to just kind of go out there and get things done, but it's not. That's why most people don't do it.
You're actually you could be doing a lot more right now. What about this? What about that? What about the other thing? That's what's going on in my head. Yeah. There's not something that's going, gee, I have to get up. No, there's a thing in there going, you better get up. You better get up. They're tracking on you. They're watching you. You better get up. It's happening. There's a bad guy out there. He's training harder. That's what's in my head. It's not in my head oh, no. No. Hey, please. Let the freaking powers of the world allow me to go into bed at night and just pass out and be oh, I'm good. I'm satisfied with my life right now. I wish I could feel that for freaking 8 hours a night. It ain't there. It ain't there. It's oh, people talk about staying hungry. I'm fucking starving. I'm starving. Anger, aggression really doesn't help you.
At all.
At all.
You know what? It f***s you up hunting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because anger and aggression is all fast twitch too. It's all movement. Whereas the bow is you got to have the mind of no mind. Mm-hmm. You got to just execute and just stay completely focused on the task.
Totally detached from what's happening.
Yeah.
And you just got to sit there and...
It's a new skill, really.
Oh, it's totally new skill.
And for me, in the competition that I experienced, the only competition I had other than inside the gym, training partners, is fighting, and that's all fast stuff. It's all like explosions and movement. So anytime where there's danger and anxiety and fear, your body's geared up to go quick and move quick. But with hunting, it's the opposite. When you're drawing back on an animal, all that anxiety, like, you better get that quick out of your head. There's no quick. There's execute in calmness. Stay in the zone. Nothing exists other than the process of executing the perfect shot.
Human nature is best revealed, or most clearly revealed, in times of suffering, and one of the, I guess, a pretty good monopoly on the market for suffering is war, and right in there as well as, human atrocities. It's emotional. I think these are things that people can be a little bit afraid of and a little bit nervous about, and being able to brush up against them a little bit gives them a little bit more familiarity with them. And therefore, when you come close to things that are that stark and dark and horrible, it also makes you look up around at the present situation that you're in, and maybe it doesn't look as awful. I know that person took action. I know that person stood up and made a move and made things happen and tried to move forward. And maybe that's what I should do too. So you can definitely garner some skills from the past. There is an extreme to war.
You can get the hell out of bed at 4:30 and get your day going.
Discipline equals freedom. Discipline does bring you freedom in life, and that's something that I kind of figured out over time. This is a very powerful thing, even though it's very simple. I have a goal in my head. I want to be a good SEAL. That's what I want to do. That's like, I don't know about anything else. This is what I want to do.
That.
I want to be a good SEAL. That's what I want. I want to be a good SEAL. And so as a 19-year-old with all kinds of energy, and we haven't talked about my childhood yet, but I was kind of like a very rebellious kid. When you talked about seeing a kid that looked like you could have handed him a club or a battle axe and he would have probably been feeling a little bit better, I was like that. I was constantly looking around for a club or a battle axe because that's what I felt like I needed to do. And it was beautiful because I was running around the woods as a young kid playing Army. And I just went and actually played Army. That's what I ended up doing. So I never really had to force myself into some mold that I didn't want to be into. So I got to SEAL Team 1, and now I just want to be a good SEAL. That's what I want. And so now that starts steering some of my decisions. And for the most part, it steered my decisions in a decent direction. Now, there were some times where, as I look back now, what I thought was a good SEAL was a little bit off, but luckily it wasn't 180 degrees off. It might have been off 30 degrees or 40 degrees. Right. And as I got older and more mature, and I figured out more about what that ideal should look like to me, and I could keep chasing that ideal, that was good. But even to be a 19-year-old kid with a 70 or 80 degree corridor to move forward in is not a bad thing.
No, it's a gift.
It's a gift, exactly. The guys that were working harder, for the most part, were good SEALs. They worked hard. They showed up to work early. They did the drills that they were supposed to do. They had discipline.
Imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly at that. Discipline is a precondition to freedom. If you don't know what you're doing, aim at something. Is it the right thing? No. But it's better than just shooting randomly. So you aim at something, and then as you aim and you move towards it, you're going to find out why you're wrong. And then you might recalibrate your aim. And that's going to happen over and over, because as you move towards a goal, it recedes or it broadens, or it recedes and broadens, and otherwise you'd run out of things to do.
You have to write and read all the time.
Nothing can stop you if you can write. And it's for the reasons you just laid out. It's like, when you write, you make a case for something, whatever it happens to be. And if you make the best case, well, then you win and you get whatever it is that you're aiming at. You want to make a mark? You bloody well better learn how to write. Because if you learn how to write, well, then you can think and you can communicate your thoughts. So not only are you deadly strategically, you become extremely convincing. And then you can go and do anything you want and no one will stop you.
They can write and they can read. That's what I need to learn how to do. I need to learn how to do that better. So many lessons that you can pull out of books. And you can get to a point where nothing really surprises you because you've at least seen some indication of what can unfold through reading. When you read, you can learn, and you don't have to go through the school of hard knocks. You don't have to get punched in the face repeatedly with things that turn out to be situations that other people have absolutely gone through. And the level of capability increases so much by seeing something one single time. Well, if I see something one time, I'm infinitely better than if I'd never seen it before.
You want to become that person. That can rattle you up, man. Especially if the person is thinking all sorts of things that you've never thought. The best way to stave off cognitive decline is not cognitive activity. It's exercise. Weightlifting and cardiovascular exercise it's by far the most potent means of staving off cognitive decline.
It's wrong. And it's wrong for the exact reason that you just said. The weight of the words. That these words were so pregnant with meaning that you had to pull those words and parse those words and pull those words apart to see all the depth that each individual word had, and then the way that they're put together. And if you don't understand something, that's okay. You pull out the Oxford English Dictionary and you look it up. And then you not just find out what the meaning of the word is, but what's the root word and where does it come from and what kind of depth. I learned never, ever, ever, ever get out of the teams ever. Power, control. If you are going to go to war, you have to make sure before you go that you have the proper will. You have to make sure you have the will to do that. We need to take action.
The people I've seen who are radically successful don't get there from power. They get there from ability, but also reciprocity.
Guess what? You might be the strongest, but I'm a little bit faster than you.
Right.
Before I check myself, I'm checking you. I'm making sure that you're good to go.
Is raw power.
We can get to a point where we are aligned. Alignment has like a cousin or maybe a step cousin called agenda. Where you've got your agenda over here and I've got my agenda over here, and you're trying to get more funds for your department and I'm trying to get more funds for my department. And so we can sometimes it can feel like our agendas, we're not aligned.
Yeah.
Now, oftentimes I say, look, if Jordan's agenda is to get more funding for his department so he can invest more and make more money for the team, his agenda is aligned, and that's great. I have no problem with your agenda. It's when, you're trying to create your own fiefdom because you're going to leave the company and you're going to go do something else. And I start to sense that. And whenever.
Yeah, and all that's going on underground and no one's really talking about it.
Right. When I get a company where they can't come to an agreement about something. They cannot. So we walk them up the alignment ladder, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, wait a second. This person's just trying to make money, and this person really wants to take care of the team. Now, I'll tell you, I'll take them further up the alignment ladder and say, listen, if you really want to make money and you want to take care of the team, guess what? If you have a good team that you take care of, you're going to make more money.
Yeah.
So you can get aligned unless people are starting to take care of themselves instead of take care of the team.
This is all me. Some people know, where's this cold man come from? I'm not trying to be cold. It's the reality of my life. It's the reality of a lot of people's lives. And so, yeah, that had to happen for me to be haunted, to pull out, to extract the guy I am today. That haunting is something that's still there today. Because no matter how much you improve, no matter how much you change who you are, it's not permanent. You'll just wake up and say, oh my God, man, you're David Goggins. You break records, you do this, you do that. People want to know, how are you able to just be so hard? Because I never turned the fucking thing off. Because once it turns off, I go right back to the David Goggins that is. And that's the guy that I'm constantly fighting every day. And it's a choice. And that choice makes you misunderstood. It makes you crazy. That's why I hate fucking social media. In 2013, people wanted me to write my book. I did it in 2018. It took 5 years. And the reason why I didn't do it, I sat at a table and Jennifer was there, This is before she started working for me. I started dating or whatever. And all these people were there. And they're like, man, you got to go on social media. And I was like, fuck you, man. Like, I'm not, it's poison. It's poison because I knew what I did to get where I am. And I'm going to have these people, these normal, everyday people, fat, lazy, is exactly who I was, judging me. Because I know it, because I was once them. All my hard work, all my dedication, I'm gonna have some normal dude get his little brownie, his little ding-dong, ho-ho Twinkie, sit there with his coffee, picking me apart. And, oh, he must be unhappy. He's just, do you know how hard it is to put these shoes on every damn morning? And I'm gonna have you pick me apart? So, yeah, there's so much that goes into this that I was like, this, I never wanted anything to do with it. So, anyway, when I speak to people, I have to figure out a way to resonate with them. Because all I want to say to them is, let me teach you the real life, how it really is. The reason why you're a loser, and the reason why you're not fucking making it, and the reason why you're trying to go through all these, I go to all these conventions, speak all the fucking time. I look in the fucking audience, and these people sign up fucking every year to go to convention, thinking they're gonna learn something fucking different. No, you're lazy. You know exactly what to do. Because even me, in my state of, I can't read and write, I knew exactly what to do. It just sucks doing it. It sucks to do it. It sucks to wake up every morning of your life and say, God, man, I'm not smart. So guess what I gotta do? I gotta study the same shit that I got one of the highest scores in the nation on, and do it again. It's not just there. It's not just there permanently for me. So yeah, it's all stick. It's all stick. The only carrot you have is like, maybe, because whenever I take these tests that are real hard, in the back of my brain is like, the good chance you're not gonna make it, Goggins. This ain't you, bro. This ain't you. You weren't born like this. This ain't you. The real you, bro. Study all you want to, but the second that fucking computer comes on with 150 questions, this ain't you, man. And somehow, comes back, I passed. I passed again. But that real me back here every fucking time is saying, that ain't you, bro. That ain't you. And I have to outwork that voice. When I'm taking that test and I get to a question, I don't fucking know the answer, I'm like, fuck, man. And then says, I told you, man, that ain't you. You're 300 pounds, man. You sit at home, you figure out how to do your hair. That's what you do. How to come to school with the reverse baldness when you're 16. That's you. So there is no get out of jail free card. This is why I say stay hard. Because when you weren't given the gifts, the only thing you can do in life is stay hard. And I know people cannot stand me. They can't stand this talk. This is all you can do. There's no magic pill or a magic potion. All you can do is outwork the man that God created, or woman, in you. And what that looks like is unfun. That's why I said, do not do a documentary on me. Because people will not see the truth. They will see what they want to see. Is, I don't want to live like that. Good. And you will live exactly the way you live now, questioning who you are, wondering what is possible, wondering what you are capable of doing. That's how that looks. Or you can be me, which, am I happy? I don't know. Never really thought about it. Don't really care about it. Because all I really cared about was when I looked in that fucking mirror, I saw a piece of shit. Happiness wasn't on the mirror at 16 or I was 300 pounds. It wasn't like, oh, I'm looking for happiness. No, I'm looking to look at myself in the mirror and say, all right, motherfucker, you did it again today. You're a bad boy. Because that shit sucks. I have about a couple minutes of that. But I got the carrot. The second I lay down to go to bed, the carrot's gone because I'm waking up all through the night to check the work I did that day. Did I get this drug right? Did I get this right? Did I get that right? What did I do? Oh my God, I'm already losing it. Stick. I just do me, you know. I'm out there running, working out, and just trying to find out more of what this is all about. Trying to find out more what I'm all about. So that takes me getting away. You know, I'm not about even doing these podcasts, man. So nothing against you, but I'm not about all this stuff. I'm not one that likes to hear himself talk a lot. I'm about action, and action means less talking and more doing. So that's where I've been. I'm always looking for more. I'm always looking for what's the next thing for myself. How can I grow? And that right there was the next thing for me. You know, I didn't want to sit back and, you know, just enjoy my retirement from the military. There's no growth in that. So I decided to go out and do this. There's a lot of daylight. When I'm out there, man, there's a lot of daylight.
In the middle of the summer when it's
That's
hottest,
right.
when you've got tons of, right, okay.
That's right. So there's not much dark. So you're basically working a lot of hours. So, and then when it gets dark, you're actually working through the nighttime. And then you get a little rest and you wake up and you're at it again. And then when the fire's out, you patrol the fire, make sure there's no more hot spots, make sure everything is black and wet, because we literally wet the whole area down. So there's no hot spots. And then when that's all done, we'll demob, which means we'll clean up all the stuff, all our hoses, you know, we'll pack up all our stuff, and then we'll get out of there. People didn't know that, you know, I'm actually successful in business, and didn't realize that I was like basically turned down millions of dollars to do this job, and they can continue thinking it
to make $15 an hour.
To make $15 an hour. So yeah, but you know, like I said, for me, the whole money part of it, it's not what it's about. I'm all about that growth, and that growth isn't in these massive paychecks for speaking to corporations, stuff like that. The growth for me is in that $12 to $15 an hour when you're out there and it's like 20 degrees and you're freezing your ass off and you're thinking, you know what? I don't need to be here anymore. And you start questioning yourself why you're here. And there's a lot of growth in that.